We are back. It is time. Week 1 is behind us. And man, oh man, do we have stuff to talk about. What is up? Everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to another edition of Meat on the 50. You know what it is. It is time that we talk about what just happened in week 1. Man, oh man. What a devastating blow to the start of the season. Yeah, I don't even have a build-up. You know what? Let's just start the show. Welcome back to another edition of Meat on the 50. You know what it is. It is time that we talk about what just happened to week 1. And man, oh man, did the season just get shaken? It just got shook. The tree just got shook. Man, oh man, do we have some dominoes already falling in week 1? What is up, everybody? I am one half of the Sports Guys. I am Jacob Cutler, and joining me, as always, one of my best friends. He's been joining me for 3 years now, and we keep rolling on. He is Brandon Sullivan. Brandon, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Just a really crazy week. Obviously, ups and downs, highs and lows. Week 1, I think this is the 3rd year we've been doing this.
Yeah.
And what I will say is week 1s are always unpredictable. I mean, they're always just wild. That's the way I describe it. I mean, you never know what's going to happen in week 1, and this did not change my theory on that at all. So just a really crazy week. Some that I enjoyed, some that I didn't, but overall, just happy about what my team did.
Yeah, you should be happy about what the Niners did. They absolutely dominated. Man, oh man, what a week 1. I'm still trying to recover after what happened yesterday. I mean, man, what an absolutely devastating blow to the NFL, devastating blow to the New York Jets. But in his honor, I wear his jersey tonight. His old jersey, I guess you could say. And we will get into that. We will get into that and much, much more. But first, if you haven't done so already, the action's already taken place. But, if you have a chance, go back and check out our picks episode with our special guest, Andy Gomez, because we need to go over how we did. So let's put it up on the screen. Yes. It was, like Brandon said, it was a wild card of a week. It was pretty crazy. Brandon and I both going 9-7 on our games. Up and down, back and forth. I'm glad we finished positive. Week 1, kind of hard to judge. You never really know what's going to happen. Both going 1-0 though on our guaranteed victory, so I will take it. You calling your shot on the Niners and them absolutely destroying the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then the Eagles. I mean, trying to give the game away, but we're able to get the job done and pull out a very close victory to Mac Jones and company and the Patriots. And then with our special guest, our first special guest, Andy, setting the tone, going 10-6. So our next guest will have to build off of that. Andy going 10-6, although going 0-1, if I can speak, 0-1 in this guaranteed victory. An absolutely craziness of a game, that Monday night game, and that's where we're going to start first. So we don't need to do the overall records because that is our overall records right now. So let's just wipe those off the screen. Let's get right into it. Let's just talk about some of these games here. Let's talk about the first game. Let's talk about, I guess the last game, I should say. The one that we just saw. The one that just took place. The Buffalo Bills and the New York Jets. 4 plays into the game. Franchise Hall of Fame legendary quarterback Aaron Rodgers ruptures his left Achilles. Done. Out for the entire season. Out, definitely going to probably eat into some of his spring if he can get back healthy and everything like that. But Aaron Rodgers out with a torn Achilles. 4 plays into the season. Please tell me you're watching the game, and please tell me your reaction.
Yeah, I was watching the game. Unfortunately, I didn't think anything of it when he went down. That's kind of how those injuries occur. Yeah, and just for it to happen so quickly, very surprising. And it kind of goes back to the speculation about the New York Jets. I mean, they just have a lot of bad luck, and they're one of those organizations.
That turf.
Yeah, that turf, MetLife. It's we saw Nick Bosa tear his ACL on that turf. I mean, there's been other injuries, but obviously that's one that I remembered pretty well. But
the entire 49ers roster tore their ACL on that turf in 2020.
Yeah, I'll have to check. I don't think we play there this year. I hope we don't. But I just it's unfortunate. There was a lot of hype around Aaron going there, and obviously them turning things around, and it's just kind of crazy to just how quiet it was during the just how quiet it was when that happened. That you could hear a pin drop. So very unfortunate for Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if he's going to be able to return from this just at his age. He's going to be 40 pretty soon.
Yeah, definitely.
And when you're talking about a torn, Achilles or, a ruptured Achilles, that's a hard injury even for someone, very young to recover from. So it's going to be tough for him to come back. I'm not ruling him out. I'm sure he doesn't want to go out like that, but I'm just not sure, if it's even in his hands. You're talking about this could be a timeline of recovery for, at his age, anywhere from, 8 to 18 months.
Yeah, in comes Zach Wilson. So in comes Zach Wilson, QB1, step in. He takes control of the team. You kind of saw him during Hard Knocks, and we'll see what happens. I mean, he came in, and I think Brandon was blowing up the our fantasy football chat with our basically the league I run, and Zach Wilson just clearly he was not preparing to be the starter, but he did not look good. He does not look good. Aside from that lucky touchdown that Garrett Wilson basically snatched from being an interception, he's going to have a lot of work to do to keep this Jets team afloat and hopefully kind of rise to some expectation to keep the team going, because Aaron Rodgers was basically going to be the heart and soul of this team. And in 4 plays, he's done. And it is very unfortunate. It's almost like it's just shocking, honestly. Like, you're just kind of speechless. You really can't believe that 4 plays into a brand new season, the hype the amount of hype surrounding Aaron Rodgers moving to the Jets, it's him seeming like he can turn around the franchise somewhat. To be gone in 4 plays, man, crazy. Demoralizing. It was demoralizing when Joe Burrow went down his rookie season with that knee injury, but that was several games into the year. But man, oh man, 4 plays into your opening game, that is tough. That is very tough. Obviously, we both wish him a very speedy recovery, a very successful recovery. I hope obviously he can return to, obviously the level that he can definitely be succeed at and be good. Yeah, can he get back to this level where he's at now at 40 years old? It's going to be tough. So I'm going to be very curious to see what he has to say when he goes on the Pat McAfee show. That's definitely something that I'll say this. I hope he continues his Tuesday sessions with the Pat McAfee show, so that way that we can kind of get some insight into his recovery, into kind of some of his thoughts about what he thought about the initial injury, what he thought like when it initially happened, because yeah, I mean it was devastating. You could, like you said, you could hear the air immediately went out of the building. And then Tyrese Gibson, of all people, the man who basically, if you've seen the Hard Knocks clip, was one of the last guys to be on the roster, gets the job done, takes the punt return back in overtime and shocks the world, shocks everybody, shocks the Bills, and the Bills not getting off on the right foot. What did you think of the Bills' performance last night? What did you think of Josh Allen's performance?
It's a little rusty. It's they'll get it together. I'm confident. I just think, sometimes week ones go like that for teams. And, I think it went like that for the Chiefs too. So, it's hit or miss in week one. Sometimes teams come out on fire and then they drop 5 games straight. Sometimes teams lose week one and then they win 5 games straight. So, I just think the Bills, give them credit for at the end, getting that drive together, getting a field goal, tying the game. Unfortunately, it was a bad special teams play. I don't think Zach Wilson would have drove down the field and won the game for them. I personally don't. So
no,
I think
Xavier Gibson.
They got a lucky break. So good for the Jets. They won their Super Bowl, and now it's. You're probably in the race for Caleb Williams at this point. So that's how I feel.
Yeah, you might be right. It's unfortunate.
Zero faith. Zach Wilson, I have zero faith.
Yeah, he hasn't given us anything to give faith in him or have faith put in him. So, Xavier Gibson, Gibson, bailing him out, and basically, like you said, bailing Zach Wilson out so he wouldn't have to lead either lead a turnover drive, a fourth down, a four and out, or like a field goal. Jets got bailed out. They'll take it for sure. The Jets are going to take their wins where they can get them this season now with Aaron Rodgers being out. That team is still very talented. They have a lot of pieces around Zach Wilson that can help kind of cover up his weaknesses, where the areas where he lacks. But overall, this team now has become a team that is going to go and stop at the mercy of Zach Wilson. So we'll see what happens with the New York Jets. Like you said, Buffalo Bills, just rust. Josh Allen shaking off some rust. I know those 3 interceptions. Funny enough, those 3 interceptions got, I think it's Javier Whitehead. I believe that is Jordan Whitehead, Jordan Whitehead. I don't know if you saw this, but Jordan Whitehead got all 3 of the interceptions. That's all he needed for his bonus for the year. So he got $250,000 in week 1 because he got all 3 of his interceptions. Easy money right there. Yeah, easy money. So good for Jordan Whitehead. Get your money on Aaron Rodgers. Heal up and recover soon. Devastating injury. All right, let's go all the way back to opening night, Thursday night. Man, oh man, what a kickoff game we had before us. We had the Detroit Lions traveling to Arrowhead, traveling to Kansas City to take on the Kansas City Chiefs in a very hostile atmosphere. Only the Chiefs were lacking their number 1 tight end in Travis Kelce and their number 1 DN in Chris Jones. But the Lions did not care. Got the job done like I knew. I knew it was going to happen. I called it. I predicted it. I should have guaranteed it. But the Lions got the job done on Thursday night, holding the Chiefs to 20 points just so they could score 21. Yes, the Lions winning 21-20. What'd you think? What'd you think of the Lions' effort? What'd you think of the Chiefs' effort? What'd you think of that game?
Yeah, just a total week one game. Obviously, the Chiefs missing two key pieces on both sides of the ball, and then obviously, a lot of drop passes. That's just rust. And Tony is he was a Super Bowl hero. I mean, I don't know if you remember, but he got a touchdown. I think he took a punt back almost all the way too. So I don't think that's a reflection of him as a player. I think they're gonna have to get used to having the new rookie wide receiver, and then obviously not having your favorite player probably in the history of the NFL, Juju Smith-Schuster. He's not on that team.
You don't even start, dude. You better watch your mouth.
Yeah. So just one of your favorites. So he's not there, and they are just hurting from that because like you've outlined, he's one of the best receivers in the league. So they're on the struggle bus for now, and I think that week 2 is going to be a different story, but give credit to Detroit, to go in there and to kind of pick up where they left off last year, and I think it goes to show how good of a coach Dan Campbell is, because if you were to tell me that Jared Goff would go in there and win that game, I would have told you you're crazy. I think it was crazy to think that, but I just think that the team, it comes down to their leadership and coaching. So credit to the Lions. That was a big win for them, and a huge way to start the season.
Yeah, definitely. Great win for the Lions. Great way to start the season. I don't know when. I don't know when the last time Detroit started 1-0, but good for the Detroit Rolling Motor City Lions. Dan Campbell, great job. Great coaching. The Lions, able to hold off the Chiefs. That's what happens when you're down your two pieces. That's what you're supposed to do as a team. You're supposed to take advantage, capitalize, and get the victory. And that's exactly what that's exactly what the Detroit Lions did in Arrowhead in Kansas City. Let's talk about Sunday morning real fast. We won't talk about every game because not every game deserves to be talked about with some of these performances, but man, oh man, this is what I'll say. The Bengals were bailed out from the most embarrassing performance on Sunday thanks to the New York Football Giants. And we'll talk about that here in just a little bit. But the Cincinnati Bengals, up until Sunday Night Football, had one of the most embarrassing opening games that you could ask for. Nothing was clicking. Joey couldn't get anything going. Jamar couldn't get anything going. T. Higgins was basically, I didn't even think he was on the team. I didn't even see, I don't know why they wouldn't get him involved in anything. The O-line wasn't clicking. The defense played great, and they held on as long as they could. And then what happens? You're going to get tired when your offense can literally do nothing. So I'm happy to see the Bengals defense it is looking pretty solid. Bengals offense, here we go again. We're back to starting off rough, starting off slow. It's just like last year. So hopefully that they can get it together in week 2. I'm just going to chalk week 1 up to week 1. Like Joey said, no one wins or loses the Super Bowl in week 1. So all I'll say is all of our players are healthy going into week 2. I expect Joey to be better, and I expect the entire offense to be better, because the defense played, like I said, the defense held on for as long as they could. There wasn't really anything that, I saw. Trey was getting his pressure. Sam was getting pressure. DJ Reader was getting his pressure. The linebackers were doing what they could. Dax Hill got an interception. So the defense was doing what they could, and they held on as long as they can. Eventually, you got to score points. So that fourth down where nobody blocked Myles Garrett is ridiculous. So Cincinnati Bengals, very embarrassing performance to kick off the season. But we'll see what happens. On the flip side of the coin, you know what team wasn't embarrassing? You know what team wasn't a complete embarrassment? A complete sham in week 1? That would be your team, my friend. That would be the San Francisco 49ers. Man, oh man, do they look like they are already in playoff mode. They look like they're already playing in the divisional round, already in week 1. I mean, they are rolling. All I can hope for is that both of our teams do not suffer injuries, because I know the Bengals will get it together. I have full faith in Joey. The 49ers, man, They came out the gate burning. I thought the Steelers defense had somewhat of a chance. Brock, dude, holy moly. Brandon Ayuk, could this be the year? This might finally be the season that Brandon Ayuk just emerges out of his cocoon into a beautiful butterfly that is a wide receiver and just absolutely dominates as a second option in San Francisco, because everybody's going to be focusing on Debo. Brandon, he's making moves. So Brandon Ayuk finally coming out of his shell. George Kittle, everybody was questioning whether he was going to play or not, and he played and he got a few catches. The defense looked great. I mean, not really much more you could ask from the San Francisco 49ers in their 30-7 dominating performance over the Steelers. I'm definitely want to get your thoughts on that. But what else do we see? Atlanta Falcons spoiling Bryce Young's. I was wrong. You were right. Bryce Young, I guess, was starting. Bryce Young's rookie opening starting performance, debut performance, I guess you could say. The Falcons spoiling that. The Jags coming out hot. Calvin Ridley looks like a dangerous weapon for Trevor Lawrence. So I'm very excited to see that connection build. Tennessee Titans, I mean, let's agree. I mean, can we all agree that Ryan Tannehill is the worst quarterback in the NFL? I mean, he's just god-awful. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. Derek Carr getting his first victory there in his new team, in his new home in New Orleans, in the Saints. The Cardinals, the Commanders, Sam Howell. Who? Sam Howell getting it done with grit, getting the job done. Commanders beating the Cardinals, are probably going to take home the number one pick. And then the Houston Dumpster Fire Texans, CJ Stroud's debut game, played well in the beginning, and then the Ravens did what I guess we all expected. I was hoping, I was praying. Ravens got the job done. But Brandon, give me some of your thoughts on what we saw in the morning.
Yeah, just a couple of really good games. Obviously, the Saints game was really good. I didn't get to see much of it, but it was a close game. Good for Derek Carr for being able to win. But like you said, Tannehill is one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. It's kind of crazy that he's still the quarterback of the Titans. I mean,
god awful.
I just don't understand it. I mean, that's one team that you would think would have tried to make a move for a quarterback. Even Derek Carr probably could have gone there, and it would have been a better
yeah.
than Hill. But
yeah,
good for them. That was a close game. The surprise for me was Tampa Bay beating Minnesota.
Yes, I forgot about that one. Yes, Baker. Good for Baker. I'm gonna clap it up for Baker on that one. Yeah,
I didn't see that coming. That's definitely week one. It's like it's a wild card. I can't believe that Tampa Bay went into Minnesota and beat them. That was really surprising to me. I just feel like Minnesota was one of those teams that had a lot of high hopes this year, to try to at least make a push for the NFC Championship. So, your team, very surprising. I could not believe the Bengals laid an egg. They have an issue with the Browns for whatever reason.
6 out of 7, man. It's ridiculous.
Browns have a pretty stout defense, so that's kind of what's kept them in the mix. So, good for Cleveland. I mean, it's just, we'll see what happens, but they're always kind of good in the beginning, and then they kind of flounder. So I don't know what to expect of that. I wasn't surprised with Jacksonville. I did think that they would beat Indy. It's going to take a little bit for Indy to kind of come together in maybe a few years, but Jacksonville's on the rise. Yeah. Their stock's going up. So Trevor Lawrence is a great quarterback. And I think that the obviously going to the Niners game, they just looking, they look like they're in January. I mean, just late season form, ready to go. Obviously it's week one, so it's not really we can't really take too much from it, but
yeah,
I know that they
can't read too much.
The lines were very I mean, it was really close. The Niners were only favored to win the game by 2. And to be able to win it by 23, that's great. So Brock looked good coming off the injury. He looked, hopefully he can continue to build off of what he started in week one. But he kind of picked up where he left off, and he made some really great reads. And like you had mentioned, Brandon Ayuk is emerging, just an all-around great. I think he's the number one option. I think he's the best receiver on the 49ers. I know Debo is a wide back. He does a lot of things. He's probably the best all-around player, but I think if you're talking about a number one option, Ayuk's one of the best route runners in the league, and that's why Shanahan and John Lynch wanted to draft him. So great run by McCaffrey too. He looked really good, and obviously the defense, I mean, that goes without saying. I personally think they're the best in the league. People right now want to say it's the Cowboys, but I do think it's the 49ers. So good. Very happy with that win. But it's only 1 week. You can't think too much about it. They're 1-0. They got to try to win again next week. But overall, pretty decent morning. But I was expecting more from the Bengals.
Yeah, definitely. Me too. Moving on to the afternoon. I mean, it looks like the new quarterbacks, the two guys who just are traveling, moving to new cities, get the job done. Jimmy G of the Las Vegas Raiders, able to get the job done against the Denver Broncos, and it doesn't matter, I guess, who is that quarterback. The Denver Broncos just cannot beat the Raiders. No matter who it is, they just can't do it. So Jimmy G able to get redemption in the Mile High city of Denver, stick it to those fans. Okay, that would have been a nice game to go to, honestly, just because to watch them lose and just see how down in the dumps they were. Denver Broncos, we'll see what happens. Russ played okay. I mean, it wasn't that exciting of a game. 17-16. The Raiders defense at times looked good, so they might be having pieces. They might have pieces there that are building. So we'll just be on the lookout for that. But aside from that, we'll see what happens. Jimmy, I'll say this though. Jimmy looks healthy. I'll say that. Jimmy looks healthy. He was running healthy. He had speed on him. He had mobility. He was elusive. He was able to get out of the pocket. So as long as Jimmy's able to get healthy, I mean, Jimmy's a winner. So you can't count out the Raiders now at this point. Now with their quarterback, who's a proven winner, who can get the job done in the playoffs. He can at least get you to your destination. He may not be able to help. He may not be able. He hasn't arrived, but he's been there. So. Las Vegas Raiders. We'll see what happens. Philadelphia Eagles, like I said, almost blew it. Almost lost it against the New England Patriots. Philadelphia Eagles winning 25-20, hanging on there at the end. Not much really to see there. The New England Patriots are just going to be a real run-of-the-mill, middle-of-the-pack team this year. Mac Jones ain't nothing special. That team ain't nothing special. So I really don't think the New England Patriots are going to threaten at all in that AFC East. The game of the day, the game of the week, the game of all of week one, the Miami Dolphins and the Los Angeles Chargers, which I knew it was going to be. Should have been at least one of the primetime games. Electric. Absolutely electric. Probably a playoff game, a future playoff game. Back and forth until the end. Tyreek Hill, I mean, a wizard, man. Absolutely. He's a tiny wizard. He's just unbelievable. The quickest, tiniest wizard I've ever seen. You throw the ball in any open space, this man can easily dash over and catch it. I mean, Justin Herbert gave it all he could, and Tua Tagovailoa played great. I mean, I don't know much more you could ask for. So as long as he can stay healthy, Dolphins, we'll see what happens. It could be week one. We got a long season to go, but definitely a good showing by the Miami Dolphins and the Los Angeles Chargers. Green Bay Packers dominate. They own the Chicago Bears. There's nothing more to be said, nothing more that needs to be said, whether it doesn't matter who's at quarterback. They own the Chicago Bears. And then lastly, who really cares? Los Angeles Rams over the Seattle Seahawks. Okay, moving on. Brandon, give me your thoughts on the afternoon games.
Yeah, afternoon games, just some really close ones. Like you said, the Raider game, that was a good game. That came down to the very end. I hadn't seen Jimmy run like that in a while. He didn't do that Niners too much, so good for him to have, starting to build that confidence back up. I hadn't seen him run like that since
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, he was moving.
2018. Yeah. So when I had first moved here, that was like one of the first games. So that was good for them. Denver, they're very stagnant on offense. I don't know what is going on with Russell Wilson. I just feel like maybe time to hang up the cleats. I don't know. I was expecting more from him, and he is.
Go kiss some babies, politician.
He's awful. but I'm glad. I can't stand them, so good for the Raiders. New England, Philadelphia. I was hoping New England pulled this off. I can't stand the Philadelphia Seagulls. There's nothing about them that I like. So it's unfortunate. New England did almost have it. It took a misstep by a wide receiver for them, but I'm still not impressed by Philadelphia. New England, I just think they're not good. So
I agree.
Good for Miami to pull off the victory for Hip Hop over the Los Angeles Chargers. They were able to get it done. Tyreek Hill with 215 yards, $2. That's crazy. Dude is just unbelievable. And I think that goes to show why the Chiefs were so dominant when he was there, along with Travis Kelce. I mean, just to have that as an option, it's just the fastest receiver I've ever seen. So, Chargers, they're just an awful coach. You got to get out of there. Trash. And my favorite game of the week, aside from the 49ers game, the Los Angeles / St. Louis Rams going into Seattle and doing the dirty, beating them 30-13. You know me, I hate them more than almost anything in life. So when they lose, it's always a pleasure. So I know there's a lot of hype around them to start the season, but I think that they are just complete trash. So I hope they're not trash enough to get the number 1 pick. I mean, I do actually. There may be a time where I actually root for them so that they don't get the number 1 pick. But good for the Rams. I mean, I don't like either team, but I'm always going to root for the Rams against Seattle.
I like it. Yeah, the afternoon games, they had some good games, they had some surprises, some games that went down to the wire, but all in all, definitely. I know your favorite game was the Rams game, but yeah, the Miami Dolphins and the Chargers definitely put on a show there in SoFi Stadium. So that game was definitely an enjoyable game to watch. Good job for Tua, good job for Justin, good job for those guys putting on a show. But yeah, Chargers. I mean, Chargers are just Chargers are gonna do what the Chargers do, I guess. So we'll see what happens. And then finally, our night game, our Sunday night football game, the blowout of the century. Holy moly.
Donut shop.
What an absolute dominating performance
40-0
by the Cowboys defense. What an absolute embarrassing performance by the New York Football Giants. Cowboys basically just running ragged all over the New York Giants. Micah Parsons and every one of their D-lines able to do whatever they wanted to do. I think 7 total sacks, one punt block for a touchdown, a bunch of forced fumbles, some interceptions. Basically, the defense had one of the greatest games in the history of basically ever. And all thanks to Daniel Jones and the New York Football Giants. Their line is atrocious. Their line is even worse. I don't even know a word that is worse than atrocious. Horrendous, god awful, terrible. Just fire them all, cut them off. They're terrible. Holy moly! I thought Joe Burrow had a terrible line. This man is going to get killed.
It's week 1 though. We'll see what happens.
I know.
Yeah.
True. But this man's going to get killed if they do not shape up.
We got a sample size for week 1. If
true,
exactly what you're saying, then fire everyone on the Bengals. I just feel like the Cowboys, Cowboys got a lucky couple. I'm just saying, sometimes that happens. Go back to the Super Bowl.
It goes your way.
The Seahawks. The snap goes over the head, safety, and then everything just went completely the opposite of what you thought it was going to. So I just think with week 1, we have to take it with a grain of salt. That's all I'm saying with week 1, because week 2, week 3, things start kind of
as the season goes on. Yep.
Because I'm not giving us the credit that they want. Screw that.
I like it. Yeah. So the Dallas Cowboys definitely got some gifts. From the New York Giants. But yeah, some thoughts on what we saw? Well,
not really. I just think it was just a terrible performance, and I just think that the Cowboys got a couple lucky breaks with the blocked, a tip passes, blocked field goal. I mean, give them some credit, but I just, it's one of those games, man. Here's the thing: you can win 40-0, but it only counts as 1.
I agree. I love that. That's a great quote. That is a great quote. I love it. Yeah, you can win 40-0, but at the end of the day, you're right. It only counts as 1 win. So we'll see what happens. Long season to go. Long season ahead of us. What a week one. What a wacky, what a wild week one. Sticks to the tradition. You never know what you're going to get in week one. Shout out to J.K. Dobbins. Hopefully he recovers. Hopefully he can come back. Torn Achilles after coming back after his ACL.
Oh, I thought that was
Shout out Aaron Rodgers.
Ray Rice.
Whoa, hey, bro. Whoa.
Yeah.
Take it easy, okay? Take it easy. Shout out to Aaron Rodgers for, that just sucks. 4 plays into your Jets career. Torn ACL. So hopefully speedy recovery. Come back.
He looks super low budget though at that number 8. It just didn't look right.
He's got to do 12. Yeah, he's got to figure out a way to go back.
Low budget. I think that was part of the reason why. I mean, that's that Salvation Army number. It just
no, that's that MetLife turf. That's what that is. That's that MetLife turf.
That's not watch your mouth turf. Good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is that so? Well, that will do it for this edition, this review episode, this edition of Meat on the 50, this review of week 1. What a wild and wacky week 1 it was. We look forward to week 2. We move on to week 2 where we will have a new guest joining us to join our picks. Andy started them off 10-6, 0-1 though on the guaranteed victories. Let's see what our next guest has got. Brandon, any last words for the people?
Heck of a week 1. Hopefully week 2 is just as entertaining, but I think that we're going to see some normalcy in week 1. I think that our picks are going to kind of go where we thought they were going to go. So we've always said, week 1 is a toss-up, but week 2 is kind of where we are. So happy to be back. That's what I am. I mean, I enjoyed Sunday so much, and I'm just glad that I have that back. So.
Yeah, the Bengals put on a crappy performance, but I definitely enjoyed Sunday as well. I was happy to watch football. I had a good time, a lot of good games, a lot of good action. So here we go. Here we go. The season has kicked off. The season is going, and we will roll on. That's going to do it for this edition. Remember, if at any point during this video you like what you saw, do us a favor and smash that like button. Smash that little bell right there. Just smash that subscribe button. Just tap all 3 things. That way you're just up to date on all the latest content that we're dropping all season long, because coming up, we're dropping 2 episodes a week now. We got our review episode. We got our picks episode. I am Jacob Cutler. That is one of my best friends, Brendan Sullivan. We are the Sports Guys. And until our picks episode, Brendan and Jake, we're out.